Awesome. Okay. Hey, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Happy New Year for those of you that I haven't seen in the interim. I hope you've all had a wonderful, relaxing time, and I hope you're all a little bit like me and super bloody pumped to get into 2021 and create some beautiful movement. I know myself last year was a bit of an iffy year. I loved it for many reasons, but also personally, I just didn't feel like I was in the space to be able to grow my business as much as I wanted to. And you know what, guys, to be super transparent, that's going to happen throughout the years. Some years are going to be life years, some months are going to be life months. And then sometimes it's going to be business time. And I'm really excited because the people that I've been speaking to so far this year are also feeling in the mindset of, okay, let's do this. And I'm excited for that because I'd already had in my mind that I was going to do a NMD Masterclass. Because for those of you who know a little bit about my story, I actually came into this business as a total bystander. I was saying no to this right from the start. I just showed up so that I could support my friend and be like, sorry, it's not for me. But when I went to the event that she took me to, it literally exploded my mind. I was stuck in so many really shitty patterns that I guess nobody had called me out on, and that had gotten so used to that they'd just become my normal life. And it wasn't until I went to this event and started watching people actually do exciting things and go on holidays and have spare cash and being able to be there with their families. And it really started to make me think, shit, maybe I'm doing something wrong. And I knew that where I was at in life was not where I wanted to stay. I was in a lot of pain. So I was really grateful. But I think for me, I was hungry. You know, I was definitely hardworking, and I knew that shit had to change in my life. I couldn't keep going the way that I was because I would just end up so unfulfilled or worse. Yeah. So for me, going to that event was life changing. And I hope you guys have all had a moment like that in the business too, where the pennies really dropped and you thought, you know what, this is it. Because I've spoken to many NMDs over the years, and we'll get into more of that later around what all NMD is about. But one thing they have in common is that they made the decision to make it happen. They're all so different. They're all so vast. If we put us all in a room, there is very few that you could put in a small category and go, okay, cool, yeah. Yeah. And the funny thing is that sometimes a lot of the people that you will just see as NMDs aren't exactly the NMDs of the country, right? We have NMDs that are in their 70s. We have NMDs that are in their 60s. We have NMDs that aren't even on Facebook. Yeah. So a lot of the time, if you see a picture and it's just of young, pretty fit girls, they're not just the NMDs, okay? There's many, many other different versions of a national marketing director inside Juice Plus, which is what I really love. But when it come down to it, the common denominator was that they were ready to create change, and they made that physical decision. You'll hear them on training say it all the time. I just decided that this wasn't going to be it for me. I was going to go all in. So if you haven't had your, okay, yes, I've made my decision moment yet, I really urge you to do it. Yeah, to just decide, do I want to do this? Because we all know that there's no point half-assing things. If you're going to do it properly and do it well, especially with this opportunity, because it can create the life of your dreams. And I am living proof. I get goosebumps just talking about it. But many other people that you will meet along your journey have been able to do this as well. So there's nothing different between you, me, them, all of us. It's just that decision of, okay, I'm sick of my shit and I'm ready to play full out. Because trust me, the journey to NMD is going to urge you to play full out. There's going to be times you want to run under a rock, and that's okay. There'll be people to drag you back out. That's what your support system's for. But you have to keep on going. And making that promise to yourself that you're worth more and that you can achieve more is really, really important. So let's rewind a little bit and actually talk about what NMD is. Now, NMD stands for National Marketing Director, and it's actually the pinnacle of our pay plan. So inside our business, you may see that there's promotions, and they actually reach levels and they go up a little bit like a ladder. Now, at the top of that ladder is what we call National Marketing Director. There are a few branches out from National Marketing Director, which shows how great your business is. We're not going to worry about that tonight. For me, the pinnacle is an NMD. If you see somebody in the business who has created an NMD title for themselves, they've put a lot of work in. Yeah, there's somebody to sit and talk to because they know a lot of stuff that has been able to create success for them, and they'll be willing to share, I promise you. So, National Marketing Director, let's have a look. I don't want to bamboozle you with these, because what I was touching on before, heading to that event every week, which we're going to do on Tuesday nights every week. Okay, so 7 p.m. Queensland time. If you're in America or in New Zealand, it'll probably be a bit late, but hopefully it's going to rearrange soon when daylight savings comes off. But that event, it's a showcase of what we do. So you've probably all seen one. It was probably all what made you decide to jump in. For about, 20 minutes, we talk about the product, and for 20 minutes, we talk about the business. And it breaks down the myths of both and gives you a little bit of an idea of, the ins and outs of what we do. Now, that event for me was life-changing because like I've said before, I'd never seen anything like it. There's going to be many people that you will introduce into this business that are in that exact spot. Perhaps you were that person. So that's why sharing this around is really important, because you can't build NMD by yourself. It's impossible. All right. And I'm going to teach you a little bit more about that tonight. But inside that event, what they did every week is they broke down the titles. Now, this was an old school event because I'm almost 5 years into the business, and we don't do this as much anymore. And Lauren, who's my upline, we actually got talking about 4 months ago and said we're bringing it back because we think it's really important. Inside that lounge room of Linda's where we all used to go for our Thursday night event, we had, I want to say, maybe 40 NMDs come out of there, probably even more than that in a very short period. And what I truly think that it was is, you guys are in my team, so you quite often hear me talk about the law of attraction. You talk about intention creates future. So what we were doing every week is we were programming ourselves to see the beauty and to see the magnificent NMD. Yeah. So rather than just focusing on one more promotion or focusing on where to next, we were actually all eyes on the prize. And that was really, really important. And like I said, the numbers speak for themselves. We created a lot out of that room. So we're bringing it back, and we're going to create a lot more NMDs from here. Again, why do you want to be NMD? As a base rate, approximately you're earning between 95 to 100K a year. Okay, so once you hit that title, that is your base income, and from there you expand. Okay, so if you've structured your business strongly, what's that a month? Or I'm going to say $8,000 to $9,000 a month, possibly more. Now, remember that this is just a base. So I'm going to show you the promotions that we go through. Now, this is what I was talking about. This is what used to be shown in Linda's lounge room. So we come in, and our first promotion is Partner Plus. Oh my God. Of course, my pen wouldn't work tonight. Do you know, before this, I spent about 30 minutes wiping this whiteboard because my kids had put permanent marker on it. And now my texters don't work. Let's see if you guys can see this one. Can you see that? Yeah? So that's Partner Plus. Now that's our first promotion. If I'm honest, we put way too much emphasis on that. Partner Plus is a walk in the park. All right? We just need to smash it out, get it over and done with, and jump straight over it. Then we move on to Senior Partner. Now, Senior Partner is a little bit more challenging, right? Because you've got to build that up. You've got to continue to move towards it. You've got to continue attracting a client base. And you're supposed to have one team. But if you have heard, they've changed the pay plan a little bit. And for the next 3 months, you can actually do it without that team member. We'll chat more about that, or watch my live from yesterday. Then we move on to SC. QSSC is our new one. Then SSC. QNMD, which some of you may have seen. We just had a brand new one inside the house, which is super exciting. And then we move on to NMD. So what do these titles stand for? You don't have to know, but I will go through it just to help you out. Partner Plus, Senior Partner, sales coordinator, qualified senior sales coordinator, senior sales coordinator, qualified national marketing director, and then national marketing director. So from here, you get into leadership. That's your solid looking leadership, okay? They've been in the game for maybe a year or so, perhaps more. They've got a few no's under their belt and they know how to handle it, okay? They're great people to chat to. Now, if you'll see, there's actually a qualifying period before you hit it, okay? So for Tanya, who's just hit QNMD, she's actually a qualifying national marketing director. So she's in her period now where she's qualifying to become an NMD. All right, so if you see somebody with a Q before their name, it means they're in a qualifying period. Again, not something that you really need to worry about right now, but you just need to understand how the ranks go. Okay. Can I take them down? Now, I'm going to screen share with you soon and I'm going to show you how to go and find all this. Actually, I might do it now, if you don't mind. We'll screen share. And I'm going to show you my office because I know a lot of the time our office is really confusing. You know, to be honest, I still find it confusing and I'm 5 years in. But if we head in here, now what you want to do is you want to go down to resources. We go into forms and applications. Hopefully they haven't changed it on me and make me look like a fool. But this is generally what I do. Roadmap to success. See down here under promotions? That's a really cool one for you guys to print out and to have next to your workspace. Because if you open it up, it's actually going to break them all down for you. Okay, so it shows you exactly what you need. So Partner Plus, Senior Partner, Cumulative, don't worry too much about. Cumulative talks about if you really want to do the business the slow way, okay, which is fine. There's many people who will just sit in here for years and just let it tick over with a couple of customers. I'd strongly encourage you not to, because you cannot ever create income if you're doing it a cumulative way. You're just going to basically pay for your product. And I don't think that that's really what you guys are here for if you're jumping on an NMD call, okay? So don't worry about anything cumulative. Just look, we go senior partner. Qualifiers is not a promotion, okay? It's basically just a new way to get paid. Cool thing to tick off, but not what we're after tonight. Then we go sales coordinator, qualifying sales coordinator, senior sales coordinator, QNMD, and down to NMD. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to break down what exactly NMD looks like. Let me get rid of you guys for a second so I can see. And if you have a look, you continue to look through, you'll actually see there's a couple of levels higher. Okay. As a team, we should be just about to hit this one. All right. So you want to keep going. To give you an idea, NMD, probably about $8,000 a month. IMD, about $10,000 a month. EMD, about $15,000 a month. PMD, $20,000 a month, and PMD is anywhere above, say, $25,000 to $30,000 a month. All right, so if you've got some big goals, have a look at this, because I have many friends who are sitting in this area. It's very, very, very possible. Yeah, so some of you guys might need to up your goals. It's cool to have realistic ones for, 1 to 2 years' time. 1 to 2 years' time, let's put NMD on the board, QNMD and NMD. 2, 3, 5 years down the track, you want to be putting these on the board, and you want to be starting to think about what your life would be like earning 20 grand a month. Okay, because like I mentioned, a huge part of success is deciding that that's where you want to go and start shifting your life to be congruent to that. Start shifting the work, start shifting your thoughts, start shifting your goals. And again, this isn't bloody wishing and hoping. Like, this is real life stuff. And why I think this is so important is because many of us who are in this category of earning some really decent money, we've come from nothing. Yeah, we've built ourselves up. And that's why a lot of the time you'll find that the leaders are really cool. Speaking for myself right now. But it's honestly because most of us have had a real life journey. We've had real life stories. We never had anything handed to us. We've had to build this up. And this is what's really empowering, because it means anybody can do it. Yeah. So start making the decision that in 5 years' time, you're going to be inside this category teaching people how to do it as well. All right. So we go to NMD because, again, that's what I mentioned. This is our pinnacle. As of 2019, that was all we had. IMD, EMD, and PMD were only introduced last year, just because there were so many of us hitting NMD and they wanted to give us some more things to focus on. Okay, so just for now, this is the pinnacle of what we will talk about, and this is where I'd love to see you all at. Yeah, that 6-figure income each year.
Kat, sorry to interrupt you, but can you let Emma in, please?
Oh, sure, darling. Hang on, how do I do that when I'm screen sharing? Oh, there's heaps in there. Sorry, guys. Hopefully that helps.
Yay.
Sorry, guys, we were just screen sharing and I couldn't see you in the waiting room. It's all recorded though, so you can go back and watch whatever you've missed. And speaking of that, guys, this call, the Building to NMD, if you've missed it, it's going to be on the 1st of every month. Obviously, January was a bit of a muck around because nobody really wanted to hang out with me on the 1st of January. But come every other month of the year, we're going to be adding on another part to our masterclass. Okay, so I shared a little bit more about what we're going to be covering and the ideas of topics yesterday on our live. So head on back to that one if you're keen to continue making this a priority. So if we have a look at it, now for some of you guys who are just starting out, this is going to be freaking overwhelming. I get it, okay? But what we're trying to do right now is shift your mindset. A lot of the time your mindset is stuck on what we call a lack mentality when you come into this business, and we're going to shift it over to an abundance mindset. So we're going to start breaking the patterns. This is hard. We're going to start breaking the patterns that you can't do it. Okay, because again, you're not going to achieve it if you don't believe you can. It's a huge, huge, huge part of what we do is belief and, I guess, intention. Okay, so we have a look over here. We have $64,000 a month in Payline. So that means your team is bringing in $64,000 worth of installments for the month. Okay. We have 5 SC legs underneath you and 5 PB legs. Don't worry about 3 POB legs just yet, but have a look at this. $8,000 bonus just for hitting it. $8,000 landing in your bank account. Okay, now like I mentioned, that's cool, but you're also earning $8,000 in income every month. So this roadmap to success, super fun. Okay, definitely use it, print it out so that you've got it on your vision board. If you don't have a vision board, get one. Put the words NMD somewhere really big up there so that you can see it time in, time out. Some of you guys might remember, you might be old enough in the business, I was doing a vision board with my girls. And for a lot of the time, I felt super guilty because when I was building this business, I was single. So it meant that they were put in front of an iPad or put in front of a movie or taken to my mum's who lived just across the road. But honestly, a lot of it meant a lot of sacrifice. And that's why I did my post the other day. And I felt a tremendous amount of guilt for that as I was building, as any, I think, mum struggles with, right? But I remember doing a vision board with my daughter and I'd just hit NMD. And I was moving on to, 50 club, and this is what I want to do and my goals. And we were doing it together. And I turned around and she'd cut out the letters NMD and put it on the front of her vision board. Makes me cry just thinking about it. But to her, she saw me do that for so many years, and that's what she wanted. She really wanted to be able to create that because she knew what change it had created in our lives as a family. So just know there's little people watching. Whether they be your little people, whether they be little people that you're going to meet along the way, there's a whole new generation of people who are going to start to create income in different ways, and they need some brave people to go first. Okay, so again, Hard work is part of it, but there's also a beautiful reward at the end. So if we have a look, $64,000 in Payline will generally happen organically if you get the structure in place. Now that will happen with any of your promotions. So a little trick, when you're looking at that roadmap to success, don't worry about the numbers, don't worry about the dollar figures. Have a look at that structure section and put it into place. Okay, so if you're looking towards a senior partner promotion, get the one team member as early as you can, and that promotion will happen quicker. If you're looking at the SC promotion, get the 3 legs that are needed to make that happen, and the volume will happen organically. Okay, so same with NMD. To get the pay line, what we want to do, so here's me, is realistically get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really strong frontline who want this. That's it, right? Find 5 people who are just like you. Work together, build a fucking empire. That's it. How complicated do we make it though? Ridiculously. I'm sure you guys could think right now of at least 2 or 3 people who would be really good at this business, whose life it could change, and who would be able to create some really cool waves. Will they say no to you now? Maybe not, but keep them in your mind. All right? Again, we talk about the law of attraction, we talk about manifesting. I had 2 people in my mind when I first started this business. Yeah, 2 that were like I just thought, you're really cool. I like you as a person. I love what you stand for. I think you could do this really well. And actually, I had 3. One, I messaged and she was like, you know what, I'll just become a customer. I don't think I really want to run the business, and she's still a customer to this day. So who knows, maybe one day she'll become a teamie. The other 2, Ashley Radjip, some of you may know her, she might be your upline. She said no to me. I'm sure she avoided me for a very long time. And then you know what happened? She replied to an ad from Soul Project, not realizing that it was me. Now, how's that for freaking manifesting? I kept thinking about her. She was on my dream team list. I kept saying one day she's going to be able to understand how cool this opportunity is. And she's now in here. She's my free loving gypsy spirit who's creating income while she used to travel around the world. Now she's locked in here in Australia, but she's doing things that she loves. She's no longer in a job that she hates. Okay, just from me putting her on that dream team list, I'm sure of it. The other one, this was actually a little bit of a twist around, was one of my mum's really good friends. She had a lot of drive. She was really passionate. She was really spiritual. And I just loved her energy every time I was around. She made me feel great. And now I reached out to her and she said, honey, I've just bought a sailboat. Again, this is why she's my gypsy spirit. And she's like, I'm heading up to the Whitsundays and we won't have any Wi-Fi for the next 12 months. And she said, do you remember my daughter though? How about I put her in touch with you and see if she'd be interested? And Lauren actually became one of my SFC leaders. Yeah, so exactly the same vibe as her mum, just a younger, I guess more energetic version. So it's really interesting. Have a think right now, whose energy would you love in your team? If you were to find 5 people, because don't forget, these 5 people, yes, they're going to be helping you create your NMD business, but you're also changing their lives. Yeah. We've had, like, if we have a look at it, we've got Joe, we've got Denise, we've got Tanya, we've got Greg, we've got Alice, we've got Ashy. We've got so many people who are knocking on the door of that NMD. Vicky's super close too. She's one of your uplines. There are so many people that are just about to explode. And to be honest, like, they weren't on my list. They were just got attracted along the way. So there's going to be lots of people too that by using the tools in our business chats, you know, our Monday mornings, any of the recorded stuff that we've got when we talk about recruitment, these are the other people that you better come along. But I would be starting to open space for at least 5 rock stars to start running with you. Now, who can be guilty of just searching for one, of just being like, I just need one. If I could just get one team member, yeah, that's what we've got to smack down. Because when we look at lack and abundance, lack is never going to help you create an NMD business. If anything, it's going to self-sabotage because it's going to be so uncomfortable for you to subconsciously think about having that much money in your bank account every month. All right, our mind is a very, very powerful tool. So in order to be doing that, I want you to have a think. Now, this is a really cool exercise for tomorrow. I want you to think how many times you think about the lack of something, whether it not being enough, okay? What's a really cool example? So let's look, financially is always an amazing one. Finance is probably the hardest thing to master though, okay? So there's lots of other different ways. But let's have a look. Who else sees something that they really like and the first thing they think is, oh, I don't have enough money. Or, but if I do that, will I not be able to do this? There's like a little yucky feeling in your gut. And trust me, this is coming from somebody who used to live in a lack state quite often. Yeah? That feeling is lack, and that feeling is what you have to release in order to be able to create an NMD business, because trust me, you're not going to be able to maintain it. You're not even going to grow big enough to attract it if that's your state. Okay? So what you need to do is you need to retrain yourself. So when you think about that and you feel that feeling, you need to go, okay, I acknowledge that that's there, but I also understand that there is so much freaking money in the world. It's going to come to me. One way or another, there is enough money for me to get what I want and still be able to be fine, and for other people to have enough money as well. The other thing is quite often feeling guilty about having money because you know other people don't. You're still thinking about the lack. Okay? Try and work out ways where you can think of the abundance. So, today I was driving down the road, right? And I saw this woman who just looked like she was having the best day ever. She was riding her bike with her bikinis on. She had her green juice. She had her gypsy hair flowing in the wind, just riding to the beach. And my mind is sitting there thinking about, fuck, that's awesome. Like, look at her. Look at all the possibilities she's got for the day. She's just chilling out. It might not have even been realistic, but my brain now is instantly going to the abundance of the situation, how awesome she's got. Now, to use an example, there's another person in my house who doesn't necessarily always have that mindset, is still trying to work on that. He's watching the traffic, okay? The limit. He's working out what sucks in a situation. So it's always really, really, really important that you work out ways to not look at a limit. Start to think about things that are abundant, because we do know that many people out there have beautiful lives. It's super possible. You just need to become one of them. All right? A little brain training in there will help. So having that mindset of, okay, well, we're not looking anymore of these limits. We're not thinking about 1 or 2 measly team members. We're looking at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And sometimes you'll get on a coaching call with me and you've got big goals, and I'll say to you, okay, go and find 15 new frontline. And for some of you, that is like, what? I'm struggling even finding one. And the reason why we say that to you is because that's what needs to stop. If you're searching for 15, you're probably going to find 5. But if you're searching for 1, you're probably going to find nothing. Does that make sense? You need to shift your parameters there into what you think is possible. Now, again, I've heard many people say that recruiting is hard. I'm going to call you out on that, and it is total bullshit. Recruiting is not hard. There are so many people in this world right now, so many who need what we've got. So many. You even just think about it. There's 7 million people on Facebook. How many of those would love a second stream of income? Yeah? My guess is, because your brain is telling you that it's hard, you're looking at ways to certify that and you're looking at the hard people. By opening it up and going, you know what, there's so many people out there who need what I've got. That's my belief. That's what I'm telling myself over and over again. Even if you need to affirm it, have an affirmation every day that you tell yourself to slowly retrain your brain. You'll start seeing the people with their hands up. They'll start attracting towards you. Okay, we've done some really cool training on the law of attraction, so I don't want to hit too much into it. There's a really scientific reason as to why you can attract good things if you're in an abundance mindset. If you're constantly focusing on the limits, all you're going to get are limits. It's not fun in a limitless pay plan, okay? In a limitless pay plan, you want to have an abundance mindset because, baby, you can just keep earning. You can just keep going, okay? Hang on, Jamin, let me go over. It's a massive goal. Yes, the 21 days of abundance, any abundance challenge. I've done the Gabby Bernstein one too, which is amazing. Absolutely. And you know what? We've got to be frightened of people saying no, because what's no? It's a limit. Yeah? That's not what we're after. We're not after limits. We're after abundance. So it's just shifting that idea and stop being frightened of what can happen. Because realistically, what's the worst that can happen? Yeah? And sometimes this is a hard one, especially because, you know, sometimes we don't want to change. But in order to create an NMD business, a lot of facets of your life will change. A lot of them. And some of us are really determined to keep life the same, but just keep dreaming of being somewhere different. So sometimes when people say no to you, or they get so offended that they choose not to speak to you again, God forbid, that's the universe working for you, my friends. That's them saying this person is obviously so limited that they don't fit in your abundance world. They don't fit into what's coming, and that's okay. That's what needs to be released. Yeah, old keys won't open new doors. And the majority of you guys are on here because you're ready to open new doors. So don't be frightened of what you might lose, because again, that's a lack mentality. Look forward to what you have to gain. Think of all of those things that are coming, that are there. Be hopeful, be excited, because that raises your vibration right up to be able to attract these people. So if we look at it then, if you can tonight, have a little write down and see if you can think of 5 people to put on your dream team that you know already. You might not have them, you might. They might not become your teammates, they might. But it's just a really cool activity to do to start shifting your mind to think about these 5 people. Now, what we do is we help each one of these people grow an SC business. So some of you might be SC, you might be heading towards SC. We want to train these people up strong, fast, and quickly to be able to create SC businesses of themselves. Generally, if I was to give you a time frame for an NMD business, I would like to think that 2 years is a good thing to think about. Yeah? So if you're in this business and you're thinking, I really want to make this happen, in 2 years, it could be a total no-brainer. I've seen people do it in 8 months. So if you want to be a total go-getter and break the molds, you can go from nothing to NMD in 8 months. There's nothing stopping you. But if you want to be a little bit realistic about it, and you know you have life happening, and you know you might, have kids to juggle, or whatever, it could be a full-time job, then 2 years is a really realistic expectation. If you be consistent, if you open your vision and you continue to work with people who really want it. Don't push porridge up a hill. If you have team that are doing nothing, then they're probably not going to be your runners, guys, and that's totally okay. Inside this business, we have a ratio that's 20 and 80. It says 80% of the people that you recruit are probably just going to be here to earn enough to cover maybe groceries for the week. 20%, they're going to change their life. So this is where we talk about deciding which category are you going to be in, which category works for you, and then make sure that you have the up and go to match. Tomorrow when you wake up and something doesn't go your way, you have to decide, no, I'm a freaking 20%er. I'm in that category and I'm going and I'm doing whatever I need to do today to look after my business. Whether that be following up, whether that be doing an authentic post, whether that be connecting to people, whether that be actually finding new ways to share your content, new ways to reach out to people, new ways to find these 5. Okay? But it's making that decision every single day to be in here. Do you know what's cool from this though? So 20% will change their life. So that's me. Yeah. 5% of the 20 will actually go on to make phenomenal money. That's where I'm going to be. I'm working my way towards that. That's Linda. That's Adam. That's people that are earning above $50,000 a month. So you guys can also have a talk and be like, you know what? That's where I want to be. But again, let me tell you, we can manifest, we can be in flow, we can be aligned, but you're still going to have to pull your finger out of your butt and do some epic work if you want to create a business like that. What's really fun is that this isn't going anywhere. You're in a company that's been around for 50 years and never once missed a paycheck. That should give you some solid ground to know that where you're building is strong. So you can have a 10-year goal of earning 50K a month. The time's going to pass anyway. What kind of insurance and a retirement plan could that be? You think about that. Also, for those of you who might not know, this is a legacy company and they've created it for these people that when we've had enough with this life and we decide to pass on to the next dimension, we can leave this to our kids. It's a willable business. So we can pass it down to our children and they will continue to be paid from Juice Plus just like we were. So if you have an idea in your brain to not only change your life, think about what you could do for generations after you if, say, $20,000 was to land in your kids' bank account forever. And still some really good, hardworking epics in them though. Otherwise, that's a lot of fun to blow. But honestly, it's a really cool thing because, not only that, but you could actually give some of that to a charity. You could create your own non-for-profit. If you have, I guess, something that's piling on your heart that you would love to change with the world, what a beautiful way to be able to do it because you're creating that abundance by helping people and then you're going out and using that abundance to help more people, which of course is just opening up even more beautiful things to do. All right. So who agrees that maybe they might have been playing a little bit small in the business so far? Yeah, we got some heads nodding. Yep, hands up. I love it. Good, good, good. So, out of those people, who's going to hit the ground running harder in 2021 than what you did last year? Yeah. Perfect. Now, what I really want to touch on, guys, because this industry, in Juice Plus, you will see we don't really talk about these incomes much. You'll hear from the people, you'll see the people. We don't talk about it much. Many other industries do, or not industries, many other companies inside this industry do. Yeah? Juice Plus is way more humble because what they want you guys to understand is, yes, it's possible, but you're going to be working for it. There's this mentality that is like this, get rich quick scheme. That's not going to happen. But the beauty of this is, I know Adam and Linda, they're some of my most beautiful friends. They have a lifestyle that is envious to anybody. But the lifestyle is envious, not just because of their money, but because of their actual life choices. They get to choose that maybe on a Monday they don't want to wake up early. They want to go and have breakfast together as a family before they drop the kids off. Yeah, they get to decide, you know what, I'm going to have 3 to 5 months off and go travel Europe just because I can. It's that kind of flexibility. Whereas a lot of other people who are earning decent money, even if we talk about the 6 figures a year, which is what we're focusing on, that's life-changing money right there. A lot of other people who are earning that are working 60 to 70 hours a week. When I was earning 100 grand a year, I was probably working about 30 in and around my kids. Okay, what the beauty of it is that as your income increases, your work hours actually shift down because you've built more leaders who can leverage that load. Does that make a little bit of sense? That's the true beauty of what this income is, and that's why it can be willable. Because if it's gotten to a stage where it's earning you $20,000 a month, you probably have a really strong 5 NMD leaders underneath yourself who are continuing work, and that's leveraging out the workload. But the shitty part is, and what stops most people from achieving it, what creates a lot of 80%ers, is that most people won't wait out that long. Most people won't put in that work and that dedication for something that they can't quite see or touch just yet. This is where Linda's come up with the term dream keepers. You guys need to be the dream keepers. You need to understand where you're going in life, and that sometimes you're not going to feel like you're getting any closer, but have the faith that you are. Again, it's not smoke and mirrors. I've seen many people who have done it, and I've been one of them. And I shared in my post yesterday, there were times where where life got too much, where perhaps somebody said something mean, one of my teamies left, maybe I didn't reach the promotion I was working hard for. And I thought, is it worth it? Can I really achieve what all these people say I can? Don't get me wrong, I know the feelings, I know the thoughts. But the beauty of it is that I had a kick-ass upline who kept me in line, kept me working, kept saying, hey, you've been quiet, get back to it. Lucky she was my friend as well, so she kept me on track really well. And it kept moving, kept putting one foot in front of the other, and it did create an epic business and lifestyle change for me. So that's where, if I can be that person for you guys, and we can get committed to having the first of every month learning and building. So next one, we talk about the sacrifice versus reward, okay, which is pretty much what we're talking about tonight. But I'm going to help you a little bit around, well, what can you expect in the reward? I'm going to be really transparent with how my business grew, at which wage I was earning or which income I was earning at different levels, so that you can really start to think, okay, cool, well, I would realistically love $2,000 a month right now. And I could say, great, I'll show you what my business looked like when I was earning that, so that we can build your mindset into focusing on this while it's focusing on this. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Yeah? Okay, so we're going to leave it there for tonight. If you've got any questions, put them on through, because I'm going to just have a little bit of a talk as well around, with this, knowing in your business who might be there right now. Yeah, so if you've got any questions, pop them in while I have a chat. So inside your business, when you're recruiting, there's going to be a fallout rate, okay, of people who just aren't ready to receive what we've got yet. So when we talk about building 5 strong, you're probably going to need to recruit 10 to 15 people to get those 5 that are really, really strong. That's okay. That's absolutely standard. So if you have 1 or 2 team underneath you right now and they're not doing a hell of a lot, don't try and push them to be a 20%er. They're not ready yet. Okay, if they were, trust me, you would know. A 20%er you can feel, because they come in and they're just like, tell me what to do. I will do it. I'll turn up. You guys, you're all 20%ers because you're here tonight with us on training. Yeah? You have a look. I have a team of 800. Granted, some people will watch this back, but there's 20 people on here tonight. Very good chance that you guys are going to be these ones, if you can hold it out. That's where the challenge is. Okay, you've got the drive, you've got the dedication, you've got the work ethic. Now you've got to have the longevity of waiting it out. Now you can try and encourage team and support team. Like I said, my upline was great. She kept me in line, she loved me, but she would say, hey, you can do better than this. You know, don't let life beat you down right now. Let's do it. Let's hit this bonus that you've had waiting. And she'd keep me on track. And that's really important because I probably could have slid back down many times when life was hard. But don't take it as your responsibility to introduce people and make them a 20%er. That's already in their life path, my strong belief. You can't change that. You can help guide them, but just keep bringing them in. You'll see where they fit. Okay. Beautiful. Oh, Sam, I love that. And I've actually got that one covered. I've got that one covered inside here. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But just briefly, some of my biggest places that I recruited, obviously social media is massive. Built probably 98% of my business on that. Just being a really good example of what we do. Sharing that, whether that be when you're face-to-face at barbecues with friends. You know, when people ask you what you do, don't default to your second job, your real job. You know, say, oh, I actually just created an online business. I'm absolutely loving it. Give opportunities to talk about what it is. Even though you might want to shy away and not bring it up, open that can of worms. Yeah, put it out there because you never know who you might talk to that goes, tell me more about that. And next thing you know, they're one of your SCs. Okay. The other place is being really transparent on Facebook. When I say transparent too, like a lot of people project too far into the future. Where you are right now in your journey is really, really powerful. You don't have to have the $50,000 income. You don't even have to be, you know, semi on your feet in this business to be inspiring. If you're earning an extra $200 to $300 a month, people want that. If you've just made a $300 to $500 bonus, people are screaming out for that. That is powerful. Okay, if you've just got one customer and put $100 back in your bank, that's something to talk about. That's something to share with people. Okay, so don't discredit where you are in the business. Quite often, people are scared by people that are doing really well. You know, like if Adam or Linda were to come up to you and tell you that they were earning what they were earning, a lot of us would probably just be like, whatever. Or we'd be so intimidated that we just walk off with our Kmart shoes. Yeah, that's me. So I think it's really important to remember that where you are with your life struggles is important. Very, very important. Well, see, I'm so torn on this one, Sam. So Sam's just asked, for those of you who are watching the recording, should we be specifically mentioning dollar amounts more? There's something about me that says no, but there's something about me that also recognizes that it works. So for me personally, I'm like, okay, so where I was at, you guys might have heard of them, the Bombshells. They had a massive leg in Juice Plus. This is a leg, okay? Something that comes down and creates from a leader. They had a massive leg in Juice Plus, and they were run by Bombshells, right? A whole bunch of really beautiful girls. That was their point of attraction. Now, their whole marketing tactic was sharing their wage that they got paid every month. And it worked, trust me. They just grew and they grew and they grew because people wanted to see it. But from the outside, I found it really tacky. Like, yeah, it's awesome that you've earned $7,000 this month. But I don't think that it's amazing to be putting out there to social media because it looks a bit wanky. People maybe not thinking that it's real, people thinking that it's one of those things, people putting it in the smoke and mirrors category. And if I'm honest, the fallout rate of that business was insane because people came in expecting that kind of money. When they were only earning $200 to $300, they didn't quite get it. So this is for my people in here who are obviously earning the bigger money right now. Keep it on the down low. if you're earning an extra $200 to $300 and you've paid for your rego up front, or you've paid for your electricity bill, or you've bought your kids birthday presents that you normally couldn't afford, they're things that I would be talking about. The ways that you use that money. Because that inadvertently tells people how much it is. You know, like people will be thinking, well, my electricity is about $500 a quarter. And if she's just paid for it, that's probably what she's earning. Yeah. It could be that, you know, you get to take hubby out on a date weekend or a date night. Things like that are really, really important to share as well. That being said, guys, like I mentioned, I know that it works. So if for you and you think that your target audience would be excited by you sharing that money, then go for it. Even today, I wanted to put in Tanya's post, you know, because she's just earned herself a $4,000 bonus. And I wanted to put in the post how exciting it was. But then I thought, oh, you know what, maybe some people in her target audience won't like that. So I refrained. But then how many of you guys, if you've seen a friend that was, you know, receiving a $4,000 bonus, would be like, what the fuck's she doing? So it's really that toss up around, well, what do you feel comfortable with? Yeah. I think it is too. No, it's just from my, you know, you guys probably have heard a few times how much I earn, but I'm not going to be going out and putting it in a Facebook post. I let people know that it sustains our entire family. My husband doesn't have to work. We stay home. We live in $1 million house. We get to travel whenever we want, and it's all from my Juice Plus income. But I don't go and put out there, you know, any specific amounts, because again, I don't want to sound too tacky to people. And if I'm honest, it's the one thing about this industry that makes my skin crawl. I hate seeing the person standing in front of the Mercedes like, hey, come join me. Yeah, because realistically, you got to tell that person that they're going to be in the trenches. They're going to be digging shit out for at least 8 to 9 months while they build their business. They've got to be, you know, slogging it out to get the foundation to find these people and to make it work. Anybody who promises that kind of stuff any earlier than that, it's a total scam. So that's why I'm like, let's hold the integrity high. If you are receiving income right now that you're proud of, find ways that you can indirectly show how it's impacting your life, but definitely share it. Don't hold it back so much that you don't do it. Yeah. I love that, Sam. And I remember having a talk to one of my, like, this is way back when I probably said all the wrong things to people because I was in my first year and I was still putting my feet on the ground. And I remember her saying, well, how much did you earn last month? And at that stage, I think I was in only one of my first couple of months. So I basically said, well, I think I've earned about $800, but I haven't seen my paycheck yet. And, you know, like, I have no idea whether that worked or didn't work for her, but I didn't hear from her again. That was it. So I was like, well, did you really want to know? Or was that not enough? Or was that too much? Or like, I was just left confused. So I think sometimes the honesty is really good, but we never know what the person on the other end is expecting. So again, if somebody asks me honestly how much I'm earning and there's somebody I love and trust, I'm not going to not tell them. You know, I'm going to be open about it. But I actually did with friends just before, and then they joined the business. So clearly should have told them a little bit earlier. But I think that it is important to be transparent, but also not be over the top. And don't lie. That's one of the things that I find is really unattractive, is that people push themselves into like this next category of living, if that's not your reality. You know, that's not empowering. Be real. So, you know what? I have only made $50 from a sale so far, but I love A, B, C, D, E, and this is why I'll continue to do it even if I keep on getting $50 for the next year, because I know that I'm setting myself up to be able to change 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's empowering, and it does create a little bit of FOMO in people if you're really certain and strong, even if it's not the thousands and thousands of dollars yet. Share somebody's story who is creating the thousands and thousands of dollars at the end of yours. Okay, shows them the realistic of where you are right now, and it shows you why you're working. 100%, Jamin, 100%. And a lot of the time, it's lifestyle changes that you're anticipating. So, right, you guys, you're still in the trenches, right? So it's the lifestyle choices that you're anticipating, the being able to stay home with your kids, the being able to take holidays whenever you want, not having to put in annual leave forms, not commuting to work. All of those lifestyle changes that you're looking forward to, they're post-worthy. That's what you're talking about. All right, when you've got a picture of you and your kids and you're putting up a caption to it, tie it back into the business. I can't wait for days when I'm spending more time with these beauties, whatever it is. Okay, but get people thinking about the lifestyle changes that you're creating and why you continue to say yes to this business. Cool. Surf, sailing, safaris. That was one of my favorite things. So Jamin was way back in Linda's lounge room with us. He was there when we were talking about all of this stuff. And that was literally, Linda used to open it up and say to us, okay, what do we want less of? So she literally used to open us up and start us thinking about limit versus abundance. And we'd all say, alarm clocks, bosses, whatever it is, all things that we hated. And then she'd say, okay, what do you want more of? And we'd start to think about, well, quality time, holidays. And Jamin would always say surf, sailing, safaris. And you know what? He's created the most amazing life. I always see him zooming around here on his own terms. So it goes to show, guys, that this really does work. So keep it in your thoughts. Keep thinking of these 5 people. Like I mentioned, don't stress about the volume. Don't stress about well, how the fuck does it happen? Just start thinking. It can happen. It does happen, and it's going to happen to me because I've made that decision, and I'm going to keep showing up, and I'm going to keep dreaming like it's already mine. All right? That will make it attract to you so much quicker. But thank you so much for your time. I don't want to keep you too much longer because I know I've still got some lovely New Zealand peeps on who are absolutely die-hard. Thank you for jumping on it. It's almost, 11 o'clock over there at night for you guys. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming and joining us. We'll be 1st of Feb. We'll be back here talking about our next topic. All of these recordings will go into an album inside Team Love. So if you want to share them with teamies or you want to rewatch them, by the end of the year, we're going to have the whole masterclass there. Okay. So thanks, guys. Make that decision. You're all NMDs. All right. Within 2-year time frame, you guys are earning that 6-figure income and it's happening. Start thinking about how you're spending it. Bye.